Hello folks, my name is McBoxMoto. I'm a Platinum Vel'Koz main on the North American server, and today I bring you my first episode of my competitive gameplay analysis series featuring Vel'Koz. Now, Vel'Koz in competitive play is a pretty uncommon pick, so I want to do this series to show off Vel'Koz's competitive playstyle, look in depth at the pros and cons of choosing Vel'Koz and how teams use the pick and ban phase to pick him, and not many know how much potential of a pick Vel'Koz is. So ever since his Vel'Koz release in Season 4, there's been very few Vel'Koz games played competitively. Some noteworthy games in 2015 was Sebenu Sassins vs Faker's Azir and Team Impulse's Gate vs Cloud9 in Game 5 of the North American Gauntlet. This episode we'll be looking at Xpepii, the mid laner for Giants Gaming. He chose Vel'Koz versus the Unicorns of Love Week 1, Day 2 of the European LCS. Now, looking at Xpepii, he's known for being a fantastic mid laner. He's on a team that complements his playstyle, that give him plenty of resources and give him carry-oriented champions. Now, he's very known for his strong poke champs performance. His AP Runglaive Ezreal versus Fnatic last summer really stood out in my mind. So we're going to start off with the pick and ban phase because Vel'Koz is a champion that requires a really good team composition to be played properly. So anyways, we're going to start off with the first pick by the Giants here. They first picked Kindred because she's a strong takeaway, really good jungler early on, and was a really strong jungler at the beginning of the 6.1 patch. Unicorns of Love then prioritized Ryze and Ezreal, and they're both very strong picks in the meta, and they don't reveal the comp too much. And Ezreal's a possible takeaway from Xpepii and Audrey. Giants then take away the Trundle and Shen picks, both really strong meta picks. They're also good at flex picks, so they could go into top lane or support or even the jungle. And it shows that they want a strong protect the carry like composition, which Xpepii is known for being the hard carry player that he is. The Unicorns then take Elise and Thresh, and Diamond's Elise is really good, and it's also really strong with Runic Echoes. And Thresh is a solid pick for the support matchup, also good against Shen and Trundle, and they're clearly going for a pick composition here. So then Giants have to make a decision at what comp they want to reveal, and they pick up the Corki and the Vel'Koz. Now that shows that they are a team fighting composition along with Siege and Poke. And it's also an answer for the pick composition Unicorns of Love is going for, as well as really emphasizing jungle skirmishing with the champions that they have. The Unicorns then take Zed, which reveals split push, and it goes well with the pick composition. And Zed's one of Vel'Koz's hardest lane counters, so it will be really tricky for Xpepii to do well in this situation. And the comp is reliant on good wave control and splitting in order to get objectives. Now, looking at the two team comps here, the Unicorns are running a pick composition which relies on good shot calling and good wave control in order to secure objectives and win the game. Meanwhile, the Giants have a protect the carry composition where they have a lot of peel for Vel'Koz and Corki, their two main damage outputters, and try to win the game on sieging and skirmishing in the jungle. Now, the lane advantage does go to the Unicorns. Zed does really well against Vel'Koz. Ryze and Shen is pretty even, but Ryze tends to scale a little bit better. And the bot lane tends to be pretty even unless Corki has a better mid game than Ezreal, as Ezreal is more of a late game carry. Now just a quick look at Xpepii's setup, and he's running AP Quince health per level yellows, Magic Pen reds, and AP per level blues, and also running 12, 18, 0, and Thunderlord's Keystones with his mastery page. Now, something really noticeable about this is that there's no defensive runes or anything of the sort when it comes to playing against this Zed matchup, which is extremely risky. However, he makes it work in the end. He's also running Flash Ghost, which I don't recommend. I recommend a movement speed page, in which I use against Zed, or actually I use an armor page, but he makes it work out, and I'll show you why right here. So just a quick note before we go any further into the video, I can only gather footage of Vel'Koz in this game because of Riot's broadcast and however they chose to show the players in the game, so I didn't get a ton of footage of Vel'Koz. However, with the footage I did see, I was able to see that Vel'Koz played the lane really well. Xpepii did a great job at dodging Zed's damage and actually forced him out of lane multiple times. I believe he managed to be up 10 to 11 CS at level 5 and also maintain that CS lead throughout the game, or at least the early portion of it. So now I want to bring attention to the Ghost Summoner spell Xpepii decides to run, and he makes it work out really well in the early game here. So he uses it to try to harass Zed and also try to burst him down to 100 to 0 him, but it doesn't really work out too well. But he also uses it to avoid Diamond's Elise ganks. Now, Diamond ganked him twice and failed his gank twice because of the Summoner spell, and also he was able to dodge. With the more movement speed he has, he was able to dodge the cocoons and stay safe from Diamond's Elise. However, a lot of high elo one-trick Vel'Koz mains tend to run a movement speed page. Now, I don't really recommend a move speed page against Zed here. It's a lot harder of a matchup to win. However, Xpepii makes it work by still applying pressure against the Zed and able to dodge the ganks for a melee. So I would say the Ghost Summoner spell really worked out here. So at about 12 minutes into the game here, the first fight in the jungle kind of occurs that has to do with Vel'Koz here. So Elise and Kindred get into a little skirmish here. Elise is favored because she has more burst damage early on. And then Zed comes in and tries to finish off Kindred, and she does. But Corki and Vel'Koz then come from behind, and a great flash ultimate by Xpepii here to finish off both of them. And they end up getting 2 kills for 1, and a favorable trade for them, which actually causes Vel'Koz to get a CS advantage of about 20 creeps at this point of the game. Now, the next set of events here really favors Unicorns of Love here. At around 14:30, they do a tower dive where Vizichachi teleports bot, and they're able to pick off Adam on a 4-on-1, and they're able to grab 2 turrets here. Now that's huge because they're really utilizing their pick composition and also really favoring the shot calling and getting ahead of Giants here. But here is a very strange play to me, and I don't recommend it for any Vel'Koz play. And I think this was a pretty big mistake that Xpepii made here, as that he ults the wave to try to clear it. Number 1, he doesn't even gain the turret, which is a bad thing already, but he also wastes his ultimate, which is a pretty decent cooldown early on in the game. Now, I really think he could have just walked up and E'd or W'd the wave here. He has great wave clear already. I don't think an ultimate really is needed in this situation, and he does it later in the game, and I'll show you when that happens. So the Giants decide to try and take some team fights, and they actually do pretty well. At this point, they catch out Ryze and Elise here, and they're able to collapse on them and catch out the Elise for a kill, and Vel'Koz is actually able to do a lot of damage. And this is where Vel'Koz and the rest of that team comp that they're running is doing really well. Jungle skirmishes. They get them in close quarters, and they're able to get off a lot of damage. Now, after they win that fight, they decide to go bot and try to take the turret, and although they do take the turret, they decide to get greedy and try to jump on Hylisang and Ryze, and that's when things start to get a little bit bad. A lot of them fall. Vel'Koz still lives because he's able to position safely and get off his damage, but he's not able to pick off the kills. Later, he tries running away, but a really strong teleport by Vizichachi's Ryze and is able to pick them off and kill at least Vel'Koz, but not Godfrey. So at this point in the game, this is where the Giants start losing complete control. So due to poor vision control by the Giants, the Unicorns are able to get a free Baron, completely free, uncontested. And with that Baron, the Unicorns send Zed top, and Giants send Audrey to deal with the split push. However, Zed's able to actually force Corki out of lane and pick up the inner turret, so Corki's forced to pretty much just clear the wave and then back. Now this is a key error right here. So Corki actually goes bot, but when the Giants try to pick up a team fight, and they actually do win the team fight, however, Zed's able to pick up the top inhib turret and the inhibitor, as well as picking up Godfred as well, without really blowing that much besides flash. So that error eventually led to the loss because of the free inhib that was down. So the Giants then try to fight in the jungle a little bit more, but they're really behind and end up losing the fights pretty hard. However, Vel'Koz does get a nice pick with his ulti on Hylisang. So after that, the Unicorns of Love are able to pick up another Baron because minions are pouring into the Giants' base. And with that Baron, they group up mid and siege the middle inhib turret and are able to win a team fight and win the game. So now let's look at some pros and cons from Vel'Koz from that game. So looking at the pros first, the Vel'Koz pick actually worked, as in it didn't lose them the game was lost on other reasons, and it really gave the Unicorns of Love a harder time in winning the game more decisively. Xpepii's laning phase was great against Zed. Zed usually does pretty well against Vel'Koz if he can go in and assassinate him. However, Xpepii was able to dodge most of Zed's poke and able to force him out of lane to gain an advantage. And he also made the summoner spell Ghost work. Usually you run a movement speed page, but however, he really made the Ghost Summoner spell work, staying safe and avoiding deaths from ganks, and the only time he really died was when Vizichachi jumped on him and ulted him. So I really commend Xpepii for doing really well this game, and it ended up working well, but unfortunately the game was lost because of poor shot calling and poor objective control. Unicorns' shot calling was just way better, and it kind of shows because Giants are really struggling right now in the EU LCS. I did think with the cons that the ultimate, when he tried to wave clear the waves, he did it twice in this game. That didn't really work out. Vel'Koz's W has a huge amount of wave control and really waves clear really well. I also do think the build wasn't as smart as it could have been. He could have rushed Frost Queen's Claim since it is a jungle skirmish composition. However, it's not necessarily an important one, and it does provide more the Grievous Wounds passive, which is pretty strong on Vel'Koz, and that team tends to do well with Zed's lifesteal and all of that good stuff. I do think the Realize was not a smart build choice. I do think the Luden's Echo choice to build that would have been a lot stronger because a wave clears the wave, and also it provides more movement speed and AP, which Vel'Koz could have really needed there. I don't think it was a bad choice because he was behind, and I think the health would have benefited him more as well. So that's all I got for this video. If you guys enjoyed it, please hit the like button, for it really helps my channel, and also subscribe if you want to see more Vel'Koz and just other League videos in general. Have a good day, guys.